So, doctor, my next question is on a personal scale, what is a sweet treat that you might enjoy from time to time, and how often do you have it?
Yeah, so of course I also tempt sometime
Right.
to have sugar, but what I do is, so if I want sugar, so I always go for fruits.
Okay.
And because fruits, when you eat, you get the sweetness as well. It has glucose and fructose, but the thing is, the sugar is there. But the thing is, to neutralize the bad effect of sugar in fruits, there are other things, especially fibers
Right.
and micronutrients, antioxidants, vitamins,
Right.
a lot.
Right.
So the bad effects of the sugar, refined sugar, you won't get if you take fruits.
Okay.
So another thing is nuts. Same here. Nuts also got fiber and micronutrients, vitamins, proteins, everything.
Okay.
So, but at the same time, you get carbs also.
Yeah.
So I would rather go for those
Okay.
rather than going and jumping at a piece of or sugar or piece of cake or donut or something.
Right. But so then that is to say that you don't have.
No,
No.
no.
Oh,
no.
okay. That's crazy. And I would then ask you, have you ever had a situation in your life where you found yourself addicted to sugar? And if you did, how did you overcome that? And if you didn't, to someone in our audience who's watching right now who might feel that they are very sugar dependent, what advice would you give them to help them draw themselves out of that situation?
I think any addictions, find alternative. So that's the best way to avoid or get rid of any addiction.
Okay.
So better alternative, that one option.
Right.
Other thing is you just stop it. So you should have the courage and the strength to stop it, and or if at all, slowly cut down,
Right.
and then gradually stop it.
Okay.
So I told you the sugar, you don't need to stop completely. The
Right.
body can handle up to about 20-25 grams
Okay.
of maximum 30 grams
Right.
a day. So you can have little if you want. So, but the main concern here is you should not take in excess.
Right.
So we do, and mainly as Sri Lankans.
Right.
So we take a lot of sugary food and
Right.
stuff. So I think we have to cut it down.
Yeah.
That's why we see this kind of massive rise of non-communicable disease. That's one of the major reasons, like diabetes, high blood pressure, and heart attack, and overweight also, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And touching on the point of overweight, I know that I used to work in a marketing firm a while back.
Okay.
And if at all I don't get food from home, you would eat from the curry that's outside the office.
Yeah.
And the way they serve you curry is, so on a plate you get small curry, small curry, small curry, rice.
Yes.
And that is now almost a staple. It's almost, it's shocking if you don't eat the amount of rice you're expected to eat while you're eating everything else. So my question is, if for somebody who lives that lifestyle, what are the early signs of a potential heart attack situation?
Yeah, so first thing I like to highlight on the way we eat, the thing is, that's our culture.
Right.
The way we eat is totally wrong.
Right.
So we take mainly the rice first.
First, yes.
And we serve that as a main item.
Right.
So then your vegetables or proteins or little and on the side.
Right.
I think what we should do is, we should serve vegetables and the proteins and the fat first to your plate.
Right.
And have little space for rice.
Right.
Then automatically we get to eat less rice.
Right. Yeah.
So that's very that's a way to avoid taking too much rice. Other thing is, start taking veg first, and then protein second, then fat, and then eat rice the last.
Right.
So then by the time you go to rice, you're half full. So then you won't eat too much rice.
Right.
That's what other countries do. It's like especially East Asians.
Right. We discussed the Japanese diet.
Yes, Japanese
Yes,
diet. So
yes.
just the way, look at the way they eat. You must be having enough experience. You must have seen. You have
Yeah.
been traveling a lot. So it's unbelievable. So
Right.
they don't have those problems like diabetes, heart attacks, high blood pressure. Those issues are very minimal
Right.
in those countries because mainly the culture of eating, the way you eat, also you have to change.
Right.
So that's how you have to be.
I think also there is especially in Japan, there is the fat tax, where if the government finds that your employees are overweight, they
Oh.
would charge the company.
Yes.
So it is in the company's best interest to make sure that all their employees fit a certain BMI standard. If
Oh,
that.
that's very interesting. That's also a very good thing.
Which
to
I
have.
think would also really benefit a lot of Sri Lankans here.
Yes.
Because we live a very sedentary lifestyle where you come to work, first thing in the morning, you have a big butt packet, then for lunch you have another butt packet, the second you get back home, like you said, it's another big packet of rice. And we eat carbs for all 3 meals. The fact that they enforce employers of companies to look after their employees reflects well on the company, because if what you're after is profit, if your employees are in good health, then they can work better and for longer, which would bring you the profit. Do you think something like that would be beneficial for Sri Lanka?
Yes, very much. I think there are certain companies I have heard they do. They promote healthy lifestyle as well as healthy food. But I don't think the in here the corporate sector, where they are very much into it.
Right.
Because the way they do in Japan, I don't think we are doing it in Sri Lanka. But I think that's way forward.
Right.
If at all, at least you have to start this healthy lifestyle at workplace
Right,
and
yeah.
schools,
Right, yeah,
if at all.
absolutely.
So that's the best way to tackle this. Yeah.
That being said, doctor, do you find that now that we are privy to all this information, we have all this here, we have all this here as well, do you think the younger population is getting healthier with their lifestyles, or is the younger population are we seeing an increase in heart attacks and heart disease in the younger population?
I don't think there is a silver lining
Okay.
with this heart health, because there is no silver lining I could see. So that means we see more and more younger people getting heart issues.
Or more?
Yes, more.
Oh,
So
okay.
this is the alarming situation.
Right.
More and more younger people we see with high blood pressure, more and more younger people we see with diabetes, more and more younger people we see with overweight, and more younger people we see with heart attacks.
Right.
So there are no signs of improvement.
Right.
At all with regard to these non-communicable diseases. So I think younger people, the way they eat and their lifestyles, when it comes to sugar and also the other stuff like processed food, I think there is no kind of improvement,
Right.
if at all, when it comes to those food items.
Right. And lifestyle-wise, doctor, what do you think are the most contributing factors for that situation?
One is sugar.
Okay.
Other one
so
is-
it's a high intake of sugar.
Yeah, high intake of sugar.
Okay.
Other one is the processed food.
Mm-hmm.
What we eat nowadays, we don't concentrate very much on kind of unprocessed food.
Right.
So, for example, if we want to eat potato,
Right.
so we boil and take potato, or
Right.
we make curry out of it, or we make, if at all, the baked potato.
Right.
So, but what we do is we go for chips
Yeah.
and
Fried chips. Yeah. French fries.
French fries.
Yeah.
So there, what has happened is you change the whole structure of that food, nutritional value, everything, and you
Right.
add oil into it,
Right.
and and additives to improve the taste.
Right.
So ultimately, we are not eating potato; we are eating something else.
Right.
So that's what I meant, processed food. So try to take it as a kind of a whole food, like whole grain, the rice,
Right.
brown rice, if at all, if you want to eat rice, and vegetables, just boil or cook the way you want. So rather than change it, process it too much.
Right.
You should not process it too much. Like if you take beef and chicken, and you can have a nice chicken curry or beef curry,
Right.
but rather than making sausages and ham and so you name any other way you eat all these food items.
Right.
So you have to cut down processed food, because the processed food has got a lot of other ingredients, harmful ingredients. One is this oil,
Right.
seeds oil. That's another problem for heart health.
Right.
So the seeds oils are the oils you name it, derived from any seeds like corn oil, then but
Corn oil would be canola, is it?
canola,
Right.
any other oil except coconut oil and olive oil.
Right. Right.
So
rapeseed oil, all that.
yes, I think bad for your heart.
Okay.
Because these are mainly unsaturated the oil fats. So when they are processed, and to improve the taste and the quality and the longevity, so I think a lot of changes happen in this with this oil.
Okay.
So they add various things to keep these oils longer,
Right.
and so prevent they being prevent they being rancid, and so therefore those oils, if you take it, so it's not good for your heart health, because they are pro-inflammatory.
Right.
So it can create an inflammatory reaction in your body. So inflammation could could damage to your heart and the vascular inner layer, as well as your health.
Right.
So ultimately you end up in pressure, diabetes, and heart attacks.
Right.
So main reason is it creates inflammation of your tissues, inner layer of your blood vessels, and even inflammation of your brain, inflammation of your gut, and everything.
Right.
So they are this seeds oil, just like the sugar. So it's another evil here.
Right. So then for all our chefs at home who are watching this, we can recommend coconut oil, we can recommend olive oil. What else can we recommend? Can we recommend butter?
Yes, butter is good if you want, because it's fat, saturated fat.
Right.
There was a time that people were hesitant to take saturated fat, thinking that it's
butter is evil.
Yeah, not evil at all.
Exactly.
And so it won't cause the bad effect the seeds oil could cause.
Right.
So the butter is saturated fat.
Right.
So I told you the seeds oils are mainly unsaturated fats.
Right.
So when you derive unsaturated fat from these oils from the seeds or whatever, so it's a whole big process.
Right.
During that process, there are a lot of changes happen to this oil.
Right.
And so ultimately you get the thing called trans fats.
Right.
So trans fats out of this seeds oil. Trans fats are like sugar.
Okay.
Pro-inflammatory, as well as damage. It could damage your gut. It could increase your bad cholesterol, decrease your good cholesterol. A lot of changes, bad effects. Ultimately, you end up in heart attacks and diabetes and pressure.
Okay. Heart attacks, which is, I mean, the entire point of this podcast is to emphasize the health of the heart. My question to you, sir, is then how much does stress contribute to heart health?
Stress is also a major factor when it comes to heart attacks, because the chronic stress, that's what matters. Because if you go through stress, what happens is like your stress hormones get activated.
Right.
So the stress hormones are like cortisol, adrenaline, and noradrenaline.
Right.
This stress hormone could create an inflammatory response in the body. So that inflammation ultimately could damage your inner layer of your blood vessels. It could damage the brain, then the heart, and gut, everything.
Right.
So, and also the stress hormone could cause inflammatory reaction, as well as it could affect your circulatory system, blood pressure and pulse, because your stress could dysregulate your the blood pressure and the pulse.
Right.
They are the main pillars of your heart health. So blood pressure can go up with stress automatically because it's an autonomic nerve system
Right.
that is affected with stress. So as well as the pulse. So the pulse and blood pressure reflect the heart health
Right.
end of the day.
Okay.
So in other words, it could raise your blood pressure as well as stress could raise your pulse rate.
Okay.
And also, the stress could change your behavior.
In that?
In the sense, you would not concentrate when you're under stress. You would not concentrate on your healthy lifestyle. You would not concentrate on your fitness. You would not go to do your movements, your workout, the exercises.
Right.
Stress could lead to the bad behaviors, like you can get into smoking, alcohol,
Right.
and sleepless nights.
Right.
The sleep is something very important for your heart health.
Right.
So it's a kind of a vicious cycle. So how the stress could affect your heart health.
It's almost disturbing to know how little we know about this, because okay, let me ask you it in this way: is there something called good stress that every once in a while, if you're put into a mentally tough situation, that is actually good for you, or is all sorts of stress just bad?
I would say biological stress is good.
Right.
What is bad is emotional stress.
Okay.
So what is biological stress? Exercises.
Right.
It's a biological stress. That's very good for the body, the heart, you name anything, everything. So exercise. Your mood, your brain, your gut, your aging, everything, and your confidence affect everything.
Right.
So that's a biological stress. Also, you getting exposed to the cold, chill baths.
Right.
So that's another
right,
way of improving your overall health,
Right.
and including heart health.
Okay.
It has been found that if you can at least have chill bath or sudden exposure to the cold water, improve the heart health.
Right.
And prevent blood pressure and bring your heart rate down, and even affect your overall health, aging.
Right.
So a lot of benefits.
Okay.
So, and at the same time, the sauna,
Right.
the temperature, high temperatures.
Right.
So those are all biological stresses.
Right.
So they are actually good.
Okay.
What I am talking is the emotional stress,
Right.
the anger,
Heartbreak.
heartbreak,
Right.
and the chronic stress we are going through because people without your knowledge. So because you think you're trying to resist a situation where you don't like.
Right.
So there is no complacency or resiliency there.
Right.
So if you don't have those, you are trying to struggle. So then body automatically react, trying to cope up, and
Okay.
then automatically you get a stress response.
Okay.
So that's where it is bad.
And I would say this is more of a psychological issue, but then, so we are forced to work, especially in this economy, where you have to almost do 2 jobs for some people. You are forced to work as much as you can, and it is not a 4-hour work week by any stretch of the means. How would you advise those people then to manage their stress?
What I do is, don't think too much about things you can't control. And if you start thinking about issues or things you don't have any control, so then only you get stress.
Right.
Now you drive, you get caught to a traffic jam.
Right.
So you can't control it, if at all. If at all, you should not overreact to it.
Right.
So take it as it is.
Right.
So something like that. So the most of the people, they worry too much
Right.
about things they don't have any control.
Right.
So this is exactly what I have to tell you. So how to handle these situations is, there are several ways. One is, take it as it is.
Okay.
Always you have to think the wide aspect. Why are we doing and getting caught to this rat race, chasing things for what? You have to always think out of the box.
Right.
So end of the day, we live a life, very short life, and during that time you have to live happily.
Right.
So this is what, not to compete with someone and achieve more than the other person. So what you need is to be self-content with
Okay.
what you have. And also, I must tell you that you have to smell the aroma of your own life.
What does that mean?
That means the person may be going to office and may be at home, but he may not smell the smell of the roses in the garden, because he's rushing, he's
Right.
chasing something.
Right.
And he may not see what's beautiful things in his family or the office, not at all, because he's thinking something else, his achievements, his targets, his deadlines, competing something, and animosities and fights and competitiveness, and kind of a lot of things going through most of the people today. So therefore what I'm trying to say is, relax, rest, and stop for a while and look around and look at things around you.
Right.
And that's why I meant look at the garden and smell the smell of the fragrance of the flowers or roses you have. Then only you feel what is this life and what a beautiful life we have. That's where you feel or smell the aroma of the beautiful life you go through.
Right.
So you have to enjoy the life you have and the life you are given. So this is what I meant.